let's see how that goes. And we'll see how the volume stuff is as well. Still think I should have light backing music, but one day.
One of these days.
One of these days. The real problem is finding a good soundtrack that's not going to get us sued.
Yeah, why don't you just make your own? Well, I mean...
You got to make like an hour's worth of soundtrack. And if you have the same thing playing for too long, people get really not happy.
I'll play the same thing over and over again. We'll do that every time if we have to.
Just the whole time. How's our sound going?
That's what I was about to check right now. Yeah, I can hear. Sounds like something. Something's there.
Something. Solo, something.
Yeah, sounds good. It's fine. We're good.
I'm still watching Swamp Thing on this one.
Yeah,
I'm good. So I'm fine. Yeah, no. It's been a couple weeks. There's busy times.
Yeah, Comic-Con.
Yeah, that really threw a wrench into things, and then I had a
Did you get to go?
I didn't get to go. I was busy the whole time. I've been swamped on. I was doing a proposition for the city, and then I had that show the week before that. And now I got another show coming up on the 12th of next month, so that will be fun. At least that one's closer. It's not in fucking Colorado Springs.
That's good.
Yeah, but I digress. More to the point. What's it? There are a couple things. Finally caught up on Justice League this week. The comic.
Oh, comics. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really far in a lot.
They're really jobbing. Like, there's a lot of people like hyping the stuff going down in Doomsday Clock and Justice League.
Somebody said that they were going to make the Justice League like now an event, kind of like book now.
I don't even know.
I read somewhere on comic book resources that they were going to.
It's so weird. Also, can we continue to talk about the myth that DC Comics sell better than Marvel Comics? Can we just for 1 second? They don't.
Yeah.
It's just the numbers. Diamond puts out the numbers every week. I don't know how people are arguing with it. They sell more per unit and more market share. They just sell more. I just never understand that. I saw it like 3 times today where it was just like, yeah, but DC Comics stay winning because people are buying more of them. And I'm like, but they're not.
How many you think is that like pre-orders? Or do you think that, because that's another thing, like some stores just go heavy on some books and they just go heavy on
that's true.
More. And then how much do you think, like, honestly, they sell
but
a
if
lot
it
of
was
books?
But and here's the thing, it's obviously not that big of an issue, or the stores would be going out. And then as a result of not getting those sales, right? If the sales were congruent to that, they would lower the number of Marvel books they buy, right?
Yeah.
And then therefore, if they were making less sales, then Marvel would sell less, DC would go above them. But it doesn't happen. It hasn't happened for like 10 years. 10 years, Marvel has been roughly 8% ahead. It's not a big margin, but consistently for 10 years for overall sales. Just overall sales. Now, if you're talking about what comic book takes the top 10 spot for sales in the year, for, prints in a year, that actually goes back and forth.
Yeah, sometimes
1 year DC. And even then,
like they did good now with their Last Night book that came out. Did you read that yet?
Yeah, I did. That was pretty good.
That's supposed to be, if you've read, I haven't read any of that Batman story, but that was supposed to be when Scott Snyder started his Batman run on issue number 1, and then they kind of started it, but they never finished the story, and this is the finish right here.
That's interesting.
So I don't know if you've read any of those, if this is kind of remind you of any
I
stuff.
haven't checked out his run, actually.
Okay.
I tend to like most
I heard it was a really good run. Like that's one.
I think it probably.
That's the one that involves the Court of Owls,
right? Which is why I'm glad to see it. I've heard really good things, and for the most part, I like Zack Snyder's writing. I think he has a pretty good dialogue and storytelling. I feel like he doesn't know how to finish a story. I feel like he knows how to set up a really good story, but I don't feel like he has a very good ability to finish it. And I say that from the several different ones I've read from him now, including Justice League, including his run on Green Lantern, or no, was it Green Lantern or another one? Including his Dark Knight's Metal run, including...
You didn't like, I heard a lot of people didn't like
it wasn't
one.
bad. It was fine. It was a really good premise, right? The
only
idea.
A few things that I heard that came out. That was like the Batman Who Laughs and
right. There's
the,
a really.
The
I mean,
Red Dead.
There's really
the
cool stuff.
Things that kind of
all of them are really cool. The Cyborg one was really cool. The Aquaman one was a little bunk, but it really wasn't that bad either.
Alejandro.
Yeah.
Did Mom put my white tennies up there?
I got them.
Okay.
Right there.
Oh, yeah, they're there.
Packing stuff away.
I see him right there.
But the problem wasn't that stuff was all great. All of the setup, the first 2 or 3 books of Dark Knight's Metal are amazing. They're really good. There's an amazing setup.
I'm ready. I want to check it. It looked like a good
worth
concept.
checking out.
I wanted to read
it's
it.
Worth reading.
I'll probably just pick up trades. Because how many issues is the main
6.
event? Okay.
Maybe. It's either 6 or 5, and then there's only like 6 tie-ins. And
okay, it's not that bad.
And they're not even worth them. Half of them aren't.
Because I know one of them's the Teen Titans.
And that's one of the big problems with the event is it was supposed to be this world-spanning event, right? It even had all these crossovers, but the effects and stuff of it, with the exception of the breaking of the source wall, just nothing. Yeah. It was very ineffectual. Like the whole world seemed to just kind of like phase by it, and like it was, like I said, it was a really cool idea. Like the setup with the Batman Who Laughs and the
I'm glad that he kind of stuck around though. He's saying that they're kind of going to put him in another major part of this.
It looks
another story, I guess.
Right.
Now he's not going away anytime soon. Basically,
no, probably not. He's a very popular character, which with good reason. I mean, he's cool, and I really like that. And they basically retcon the mythos into that, so that's the reason why Batman doesn't kill the Joker. So there's no more, he doesn't kill him because of his code. It's like, no, he doesn't kill him because then he'll become the Joker.
I still need to read the miniseries, so I actually need
That's actually where they reveal
I really need to reread the whole thing because I totally forgot. Because I stopped on 2, and they're on like 6 and they just added an issue set because 6 is supposed to be the last one.
Which is weird because it didn't feel like it. They must have...
They added another... they added to 7, or they added an issue 7, sorry.
Right.
It wasn't planned, but I guess it was just such a big hit that they always said, okay, I guess we can
I'm guessing they just
more to the story. Or
I'm guessing they just couldn't finish the story.
Yeah, like you're saying.
Because it didn't feel finished by the end of 6.
On issue 6?
I just finished reading it this morning, actually.
Because I just got it. I got the cool Jenny Frieza. She did a really cool one.
Nice. But no, it was pretty good. And like I said, the whole Dark Knight's Metal run is from the start is fine. It's just the ending. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, it's got such a lackluster
Guess who's writing that too? Just guess.
I don't know. Donnie
who we were just talking about now?
Who were we just talking about?
Scott Snyder.
Fucking Snyder.
Yeah, he's writing the Batman.
Damn. Is he? That would explain why it's going the way it's going. No, it has a really good start, and it kind of shits out at the end. Kind of pitters out. Like the last...
Did you pick up the Grim Knight?
Grim Knight, yeah. Well? That's actually pretty good, but it's a one-shot, so it doesn't have time. And it leads into the rest of...
Yeah, that you kind of have to read that one.
Which kind of helps the thing, but like I said, if you read the comics, you'll notice that right around issue 3 or 4, there's like a steep drop in quality. I feel like he really has trouble finishing these stories off if they're longer than a couple chapters, because, and he's all right with like self-contained epics, you know, when you have like the 25 chapter one, he does all right because he can chop it into little pieces, where it's 2 or 3 here, 3 or 4 here. But this one, Dark Knight's Metal, and I think he's writing Doomsday Clock too, and that one's actually the opposite. It starts off the first chapter really good, and then it goes ass up real quick.
Maybe he is right now. I'm not.
I think he's writing Doomsday Clock too. I'd love to actually check and see. Let me see. I'm gonna look up a list of like active titles he's writing right now.
Well, I know he's they're gonna make Tom King do.
They're making him do all kinds of shit.
No, they're making him do now Batman and Catwoman. So they made him stop doing Batman so that they can do a spin-off book. Guess who they're gonna bring in as the main villain? Phantasm.
Really, the Phantasm?
Yeah,
That's good. That's a cool one. Just
I heard
because
he was
it's
a very
shout.
popular character. I've never, watched
He's
the
from
movie.
the movie.
Yeah,
that's
where he first started. Was from the animated.
Yep. He's
But,
one of only two or three characters that have been introduced by the anime.
Yeah, and I heard, I've just heard that he was a very popular character when that came out, and still is now.
I do remember reading Batman Endgame. That wasn't bad. He reads a lot of Batman.
Yeah, he's a Batman guy. That's for sure.
I'm just trying to look for some of his other stuff. Mostly Batman so far.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Knight's Metal, yeah. Justice League, yeah. Which is once again one of those stories that's kind of shitting out. Superman Unchained. I don't think I've read that one. I'm gonna check that one out. And No Justice. Yep, another one of those ones that had really cool start, not very great ending.
Yeah, see, there's his original. Oh, I guess it's volume 2.
Yeah, he does a bunch. There's a lot of Batman in the Shadow. He does a lot of Batman.
He's Batman guy.
Signal. This one wasn't bad, actually. Batman the Signal, but it was a short one. Swamp Thing. I think I read that one, too. That one was pretty good. He's mostly a Batman artist, it looks like. And from the ones I've seen on his... I guess he wrote some of Flashpoint. Just for one of them. But yeah, from the ones I'm seeing that outside of, and even with the Dark Knight's Metal one, like outside of the Batman mythos, he's got real trouble with those stories, man. Because are you gonna read the Justice League, the new one coming out right now? No. Yes.
I don't know. I got an issue in a mystery mail call the other day, and it's one of those, but it was one of those Justice League villain ones. So it was like a kind of like a it's kind of like a they said they always do that in a Justice League book. They always do like a
villain cover.
A villain. Like,
okay, I was just wondering because there's a whole actual run they did call, not run, but a little piece they did call.
No, but that probably won't read it really anytime soon.
So I'll break down some of it. So it starts out really interesting, right? We come in right after Dark Knight's Metal, and I don't know, you haven't read Dark Knight's Metal either, but you do plan on reading that one, right?
Yeah, I do plan on reading that.
So I don't want to fuck it up too much, but at the end of it, basically, and this doesn't spoil the rest of the story, they break the source wall, right? Which is like the wall surrounding and separating all of like DC's universe.
No, so they're doing the Deadpool kind of thing. Yeah,
and that's one. The other thing that gets me is it's a real heavy Marvel cop. It's kind of the fourth wall. Think of it more like, you know how the Ultimates broke into the super space or whatever.
You know, did you read the Avengers? The No Surrender, wasn't that it? Yeah, the No Surrender book, kind of like that. I love that one. That's the one where they remember they were fighting Hercules and was fighting the goddesses, or these new gods that were coming out of nowhere, and they had the dark crystal.
Oh,
and she had her children.
That's
was it No? I thought
that's not No Surrender. That's
No Road Home, wasn't it? There we go. Sorry,
Avengers. Yes, and that was really cool. Yeah,
is that kind of like that, right?
And those guys have showed up before a couple times. Not Nyx herself, but Hypnos and the other gods that with her.
Did you finish the ending of that?
I did finish the ending.
I loved how that ended. Really, but are you talking about kind of like that a little bit?
No, if anything, it's kind of akin to Secret Wars in ways. If I had to like place it in levels of like doing things, which is so weird because it's not, but it's like this whole. So basically, they restructured their universe setup, right? So like you have the Marvel universe setup, which is very simple. DC's universe setup is actually really retarded and complicated. They've got a whole diagram. That's how complicated it is, because that's how stupid their universe is. But basically, their multiverse has like the Prime Earth, right, with the main Justice League, all the classic stuff. Then it has 52 positive counterpart Earths that are like fully formed in there, and then throughout that you have like the Speed Force setting the wall. There's like a whole fucking diagram, and then on the outside you have like New Genesis and Apocalypse and these other planets and stuff, and then on the outside of even that is the Source Wall. It's like I said, they got real stupid.
It sounds like a good idea, but
it was a fine idea originally, but they've convoluted it so much by trying to make it intertwined.
Because I like the concept of just not making it, we're just a multiverse and that's it. There's just another different planet of different people and that's it.
Right.
That's how Marvel is. It's just they plain and simple say there's a different you and me. He could be like, I don't know.
I mean, they have a super straight or a super space though for the multiverse. That's where
there's a couple, like know,
right. And I feel like they treat it really well as this space.
they have a hierarchy of things like
Right.
you know the tribunal.
Right, but
They
even
have
beyond
Lord
that,
of
like
Chaos
when you
and
did the whole
Eternity.
Ultimates, you remember when they did the whole Ultimates
Yeah, with
run,
Eternity.
and you were able to see that there was the super space, right, in which the multiverse exists, and then you could be outside of the super space with Eternity and the First Firmament.
Yeah.
And so they've really set that well. Like, it's not just some realm, right? It's not that accessible. It's very, like, this is serious business to go here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, to even exist here is serious business and, like, hard. You know, could destroy you. I remember they had, like,
Yeah,
suits.
they had that. Yeah, the whole ship was tearing apart. When
Right,
they were
right.
going there.
And it
America
was-
had to even get them out of there.
Exactly. And so, like, it was very much set as this thing. Not DC. No, they don't. Anybody go to Apocalypse? Anybody go to the Fifth Dimension? Anybody go to the? It's retarded in some of the ways. Like, it's so they finally did the cut recently. They added the Sixth Dimension. So you know Mitsaplik and Batmite. Those guys are fifth dimensional imps. So they exist in the fifth dimension. The Sixth Dimension consists of basically just the Monitor, the Anti-Monitor, and World Forger.
See, and they've done these like different dimension kind of stuff too. When Marvel's like, okay, it's multiverse number 3000.
Right, it makes sense. It's numbered.
Yes,
it's in the
yes.
multiverse. There's changes here. It's not this amalgam of bullshit where all the universes are crammed together, and then you have a super space that, you know what I mean, or super stupid.
And then you have
dumb.
Prime 616, which
Exactly,
everyone
which
knows.
is and the cool thing about it is Prime 616 is considered that, but it's not important. You know what I mean? It's not like every other universe is affected by that universe, which is basically what DC just said about their main universe. Every other universe in their multiverse is directly affected by the actions that happen in that multiverse.
Okay, well that
And
gets
specifically, and even specifically more around Superman.
then that gets really
Stupid.
really complicated.
It gets so stupidly complicated and convoluted. You know what I mean?
Because then, yeah, you're writing over people's writing at that point. Because then
Exactly.
you're like, well, fuck, what was he writing about? Oh, damn, I just wrote this in.
I done fucked this up. Why didn't we have a numbering system? He didn't tell me he was working number 85 too. I would have worked on 87. But seriously, it's that simple and that dumb the way they done it. And now it's based off of the main universe, but more so Superman in the main universe. Superman is the crux of the universe for DC now. Literally the point of where all other actions and like things stem from the stuff that makes Superman up. It's retarded. And they've done stuff like that before, like with the Sword of Superman. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
I never heard that one. I know they did
it's a retarded concept.
remember he got the solar, what was that, the solar flare they called it?
Oh, the solar burst or
I
whatever.
don't know what they called that one. Yeah, that was another. That was the New 52 Superman, though, right?
Yeah. It was some solar stupidity. And this one they've done the Sun Amp Soup is also.
So how did they fit? So what did New 52 try to do? Try to just ignore all
reimagine.
that?
It basically started everything over, reimagined
And that's
all
what
the
there's.
characters.
Yeah, that's what said, right? It was just don't even think about any continuity.
No,
or
fuck
anything.
continuity. Fuck, you can make all new ones. Wonder Woman and
See,
Superman
and like
are in
that's
love.
a cool
Batman
idea,
changed.
but then like at the same time, then you have so many hardcore
fans,
that
right?
they're not gonna like that.
Right,
Then
including me. I love classic stories. A lot of them set the character tone.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
just-
It's not to say that you can't have new ones, but that why must you stomp over the original when you've built a multiverse for this very purpose, so that you can play with those ideas? Is that not the purpose of making Elseworld stories and what ifs, so that you can play with these characters without damaging them in the mainline continuity?
that's what Marvel does. Yeah, they do those what ifs. Or,
I mean, fucking DC does Elseworld. They do the same shit. I don't understand why it's so hard for them to understand.
The Elseworlds.
And I mean, if they were smart about it, it would be like Marvel. Marvel's Elseworld shit got so popular and got its own line in the Ultimate Universe. You know what I mean? That got so fucking popular off of Ultimate Spider-Man that it got spin-offs for
Oh yeah,
Wolverine.
they created their own universe
Yeah.
at that point.
The whole thing, and existed simultaneously
Now it looks
with
like
the
they're
main
bringing
Marvel.
it back.
Right, because it was popular.
What issue did I hear? I think it's even in Miles Morales. There was some and the solicitations, something about the Ultimate Universe.
That would be really cool, I think.
So let me go to bring it back to him. Did you read the new Immortal Hulk? I was trying to read it before you fucking made me come here.
I read it faster, motherfucker. I read it.
Is it good?
My head. Yeah, it's pretty good actually. I like it. One thing they do in this that I feel like is a really good thing that writers can do and that they refuse to do with some characters, and it's also really weird to see him doing it here, because before this, right, before the Immortal Hulk's run, and even at the beginning of it, they were really amping him as this like really, really powerful version of the Hulk, you know what I mean? He was punching on Thor and fucking Ghost Rider, you know what I mean?
And
very,
then, well,
very
even
powerful.
like when you read him in Avengers No Surrender,
Right, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Because isn't he rip Vision in half, right? He messes him up.
He messes him up pretty
like
bad.
really bad. Like that.
He does that. I mean, but even beyond that, like you think about the No Road Home, he breaks Hypnos' neck. He's
that
fighting
too.
Nyx.
He's the one. Yeah, he cracked it with no
hesitation
remorse. There's no remorse or anything.
He's very much a darker Hulk, yeah. But even beyond the darker, like I said, it was very interesting to show
even
how powerful
he was scary, yeah, because even like reading Hawkeye's kind of scenes where you just like, damn, bro, I wouldn't want to be Hawkeye. Like,
right, I don't want to be Hawkeye. Right, Jet Banner was sick. He needed help. You put an arrow in his head. So yeah, you know what? I will come along.
That
shit was good.
Yeah, I like it.
Good
and then he gives him that smile.
Yeah, that evil, fucked up kind of like.
So I understand. What they're trying to say, but anyways, yeah. So go on with.
I'm surprised that they make him to be this very, very strong thing, but he's clear and defined weaknesses, and he's not all powerful. You know what I mean? He takes damage. He takes this version of the Hulk, you know, blah blah blah. But like the one where he meets Samson, he's got a hole through his head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And granted, it's to show off how his regenerative and physical abilities are, but at the same time, you know, then you think about his sunlight. You know, we had the whole chapter with him and Joe Fixit not being able to turn into the Hulk. And that's a really conveniently easy like way to like depower him. But even beyond that, I mean, the whole series, he's like, you know, if he gets hit, he takes cuts, he takes bruises. He's not shown as invincible, and I think it's partially to show him as immortal, right? To show him as the healing and the coming back from the dead.
Yeah, because he never dies, because even after this arrow that he designed to kill himself didn't even do the job. He came back again, and always will come back. And
what a shitty job he did. No, I'm just kidding. But I thought that was really cool to see that, because they don't do that with a lot of superheroes when they should or could. Like, writers will often just ignore it. Superman's one of the biggest examples. Like, you know, with such a big weakness as kryptonite, but even other ones he's had. Magic is his weakness, they've shown, and sometimes they do it well, but most of the time they just kind of like pass over the fact that he is not, you know, this all-powerful being. Mm-hmm. He's got weaknesses that have been clearly defined and showed previously. He's been hurt, he gets hurt, he's died. Both of the characters, and they'll still just try to hype his ass up to unbelievably stupid levels by ignoring the writing.
I mean, and it's understandable because it's their baby.
Yeah, but then make it
not Batman, because that's all there usually is Batman books all the time.
Oh yeah, well he sells.
I mean he sells.
Although classically, Superman has always outsold Batman. If you go look at all the years and the numbers, Superman always outsells Batman by a small margin. Just small.
So,
I thought it was very interesting, like how they've made the Hulk like this very powerful figure, but that also has like very exploitable weaknesses.
with the sun.
Like it just makes him a better, more interesting character to write for.
That, and then it kind of involves more horror elements now. That, you know, now he only does come out in the dark, and it makes him this evil monster. That's you know, the boogie monster, you know,
right? The Devil Hulk, the boogeyman.
Yeah, that only comes out at night to, you know, terrorize.
It was good. It was a really good run. I was missing it last week when it didn't come. I was just like,
oh, really? Yeah, that's. I can't wait to read it home. I like. I think his name's Joe Bennett. I can't say his last name. Anyway, the guy's been doing the pencils for the artwork. Has just been amazing.
He does.
Like how the the last issue, I think it was last year, maybe it was issue 15, but when he did that Hulk, when Hulk was kind of like all morphing, all crazy.
Yes, from the sunlight lamps or whatever.
I think so, and then
Where
yeah,
he's
that
got, like,
guy's all on
3
top of
heads.
him. Yeah, he has 3 heads popping out.
Yeah, that I stopped and showed the kids that picture because it was so impressive.
Oh, yeah, I put it on Instagram, and
Yeah.
that's a good.
It's a good one. It's a very there's really good art coming out lately.
that.
There's some really good
And
ones.
I like how they designed, I don't know, this kind of weird looking abomination with his
the Abomination.
hands,
I'm not
kind
gonna.
of
I like him and I don't.
with the 2 faces.
That's actually the part that I
Yeah,
don't.
you don't like
It
the
just
2
doesn't.
faces.
It just doesn't like scare. The rest of him, like I really like the hands, right? The clasping hand thing. I really like the overall build, and I wouldn't even mind the 2 faces, but I feel like it's when you hit that part of the art, it's not as impressive when they show his face as it is the rest of the time. And for whatever reason, maybe it's the scenery cut or but I like him from the outside, from the monstery finger face
with his eye just poking out.
Yep.
And his eye poking out way over here.
Yes, exactly. It gives a little more, I think, mystery, and I feel like a lot of because the cool thing about the face piece is it gives that gory horror kind of monster, but I feel like it takes away some of the sense of mystery that makes those really good horror monsters. So, for example, the first chapter of The Immortal Hulk is probably one of my favorite, just because of the setup and the
no,
pacing.
that's what really set me off. As soon as I read the first one, I liked how the narrative, the narrative was the one that set
exactly.
it off.
The narrative is excellent,
and then just that scene too when that guy comes in and just shoots the little girl and
he's just like, boom, he kills Banner. He comes back. He's like, I have smelled you since you left that bar. Because you've been lying to yourself.
And then
I can smell a liar.
And the whole scene where he just comes in and just wreaks havoc on the on all the biker. It was a biker game.
I think it was a biker game.
Anyways, I like the scene that they didn't really show it.
Exactly.
They just showed it. All the people boom going through the walls.
Exactly.
And
there was a lot of
and it was more of just really. It was more of his view. That's what I liked. It was his first person view.
And I also liked it because of that.
And it made you feel scared because he was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna die."
Exactly. And they did a really good job at that. The way of showing him, they don't show him that much in that first chapter. He shows up when he needs to as the hulking shadow, or in I think he only shows up for like 5 panels in that whole first
then they
chapter.
showed him with that big like I think it was even that whole panel where it was just him and his browdy ass shoulders.
It's him looking Frankensteinish.
And then like his teeth just smiling. That's my favorite one.
That's the one, and then that's
my
when
other
he's
favorite
telling
one
him
too is right before that scene where you see the guy, he's looking, and then you can see the shadow right over him, and you can just see how big it is to him.
Right.
And he's like, oh, yep, he's screwed.
Exactly. And they put a lot of really good horror. I will say, I feel like the last couple chapters, the horror element has
kind of
dropped
going,
off.
but they've been trying to amp it up to.
I feel like they're doing more story.
Yeah.
And which is fine because the first couple chapters were very horror oriented. Like that first chapter, probably the 2 chapters after that had nothing to do with the story, everything to do with setting up the Hulk as this new presence. The
get more of who this new Hulk is and what's going on with that, and so I'm excited to see where the story's going. The next issue looks good, or the next cover I think it is, looks really good. They have Rick Jones going back to normal on the cover.
That's interesting.
So I'm curious to see how it's gonna go. They're like supposed to be a team now together. I even like how they showed the red Harpy. That was cool.
Interesting. I was surprised at the red part, but I mean she's already been Red She-Hulk, so
so they got to do something different, right? That was I read up in a little bit more on that. I guess she first got created with MODOK, transformed her into that. And that was a long time ago, actually.
Well, they discussed
earlier issues. They discussed it a little bit.
Which is cool. I thought that was interesting because they don't do that enough where they used to, where it'd be like, editor's note, look at Hulk 181 by Mark. You know what I mean? It's like last scene in Tales to Astonish. You know what I mean? Like, I really like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's
They need to do more of that. That one was pretty overt because they did the actual flashback. but at least they.
Oh yeah, they did do the flashback.
Yeah, they did a whole flashback.
That's why I like that.
But it was fine, and they could have just done the quick one, and it would have also been fine. So I kind of let it go because it didn't detract from the story.
No,
and
it added more, to it a little bit more.
And that's always my thing is like,
especially because nobody's gonna want to go read that Hulk one.
No, not that old ass.
Yeah, so that's why he's like, I gotta add this into my story if it's gonna make sense to people. Like, what the hell is this harpy? And nobody's read seen a harpy. I mean, the last issues that there was in like early 180s, it was the harpy.
Right,
no,
which
160s,
which would have been the 80s.
Yeah, and then the next one was when they did Marlowe, which was Rick Jones' girlfriend.
Yeah, I remember.
I don't know too much about the Hulk history, but I'm starting to learn more now.
No, and that's why I like this, and why I like. This one isn't Donny, but Donny Cates does it really well, pulling from the Marvel history to create new stories. It was really important, I think, to visit that history and create, like, what was the one in the X-Men they just pulled back when, it was only for a couple chapters, but when Storm gets her hammer back, her Asgardian hammer.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that one from when she went back to her homeland.
Yep. That was just good. It was a good callback. Like, it's something that, like I said, even if you're not willing to go back and read that comic, it makes you aware that the comic is there to go back and read that this happened.
Yeah.
I had no clue. I never knew Storm had an Asgardian hammer until that comic where they referenced back to it, and then I had to go and look up scans and shit from when Loki gave her the hammer. I was like, oh well, I guess you did. You know what I mean?
It happened. It's right here.
Like you said, it was like I had no fucking clue, but I like that. I like it when they tune you into those key parts of Marvel.
I mean, there's just so much like Marvel books out there that it's just like so hard to keep up sometimes.
It's just impossible. Oh, what's it? I was watching Supernatural, and I don't know if you've seen this show or how much you've seen.
Oh, there's like episode what now?
Season 15, 16.
Yeah, I've heard they're about to end it.
It's the last. I'm so happy that they've decided to end it and not like get killed off.
I hate when shit like goes on too long. Like
it's gone on.
It's fine when it's like a show that has no sense or rhyme, like Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't really care. That can go on for 15.
Forever because it has no story.
That's fine with me. But when you're like that has a story and they're going 16 seasons, like okay, bro, this needs to end.
Trust me, it needed to end 2 or 3 seasons ago. From an avid fan. I love Supernatural, but it needed to end 2 seasons ago. But the quote I was thinking of was from one of the characters, Metatron, who's the voice of God in the show. He's the voice of God historically and canonically in biblical passages, but in the show he's like the scribe of God. He writes God's word, but he's obsessed with stories and books. Like that's his whole thing because he's a writer, and he says like I've read as much as it's physically possible for an angel to read, and I still haven't caught up. There's just no catching up. There's no, for every minute that you read, there's somebody out there writing a new story. There's probably 1,000 somebody's out there writing, and thousands of somebody's out there writing new stories, even as we speak. So we're never gonna catch. It's about finding the ones you really like.
Yeah,
and I think that's why it's cool to follow the art. Like you said, follow the artist, follow the.
Yeah, because then you end up liking their work, and you end up liking a lot more. The work, I like this new project that Scotty Young's coming out. It's called Pretty Violent. He's doing a superhero book, but it's a little. It's like, have you read I Hate Fairy Tale Land?
I don't think I have.
Oh, you gotta read I Hate Fairy Tale Land.
There's a lot of there's so many I
Hate Fairy Tale Land.
So I still have to catch. Like I was catching up on stuff this morning, which was partially what I was doing for this. But there's so much I have to catch up on. I need to catch up on Doomsday Clock still. I just caught up on Justice League. And man, did they hype the feats of these characters up there. Like, the most recent one is Superman, like, punches the shit out of World Forger. Which is cool. But they're like, he's a multiversal being. I was like, alright, first of all, you didn't even hurt, dude. Like, dude gets right back up. Stands right back up. Physically undamaged. He breaks the hammer, or the anvil, which is supposed to be like a multiverse in the forming, or a universe in the forming, which is cool, I guess, but that's not all that impressive to me. That's something Franklin Richards and Molecule Man can do, and they're not even top tier characters in Marvel. So if you're telling me World Forger is this 6-dimensional, all-powerful being with only one, they have a new person who's like the creator of their universe originally,
Oh.
And that's another one where it feels like a cop from Marvel. They call her Perpetua, and she was used 7 forces to make the universe. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
Sound a little bit like Nexus?
Yeah.
From fucking the Infinity Stones?
Yeah.
Yeah, or not Nexus, what do they call them? Nemesis, right?
Yeah.
The seventh Infinity Stone that makes the universe that was the universe. So I'm just like, these concepts aren't new, and they're not impressive. Like, he punches dude, and he leaves a cool crater, right? But I've seen dudes punch planets in half. Like, in half. You know what I mean? Beta Ray Bill, Thor, Thanos, all capable of K-ing planets.
Mm-hmm.
Historically, you know what I mean? It's been proved. It's not a theory. They've done it. So why is this impressive? Because he punched some dude really hard, and this was after he got like a super amp. He flew through like a dozen suns or some shit to get super amped to punch this dude. And I'm just like, this is your high-end feat? I saw Thor and Hyperion kill a Beyonder. And the Beyonder was able to kill the physical manifestations of life, death, and fucking...
I remember reading that one. Then they died.
They did, because they faced the host.
so many.
Right, they faced the host of them.
That was a lot. It took a lot, though, for them to...
Right, and that was my point.
That was a good... I loved reading that.
My point was, when you remember seeing the Secret Wars lead up, the Beyonders are individually fighting off the aspects of creation.
I have to read all that over again. I picked up all the tie-ins that were leading up to that.
It's such a cool
that's when
there's
I first started reading
but
comics.
There's so much lead up. Like when I went to get the original, like someone had comped, and I went to get them a bunch of scans for what you needed to read to get to Secret War, and like there's hundreds of chapters because of the collision between the Ultimates universe and the regular universe.
Oh yeah, I read all those Ultimate bullshit. I had to because
it's really interesting.
If you read go look up Comic Book Herald. He's like I think the genius of like reading comics chronologically.
Yeah, I've seen his.
Yeah, he's good. So he's the one I read. I think there was literally like 150 books.
Said you had to go through like all of Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I had to read a little bit of Fantastic Four because you have to read him because then it leads up into the story of the Maker.
Yep.
Okay, then you gotta learn who the Maker is because the Maker is involved in the whole
incursions. Yeah,
and then you have to watch the you have to read the Ultimate Cataclysm.
Yes,
you have to read that one too, which is a crazy story. I can't even believe I read that because
that was pretty crazy.
I can't. Doctor Strange gets his thing popped and his head just goes. I'm like, oh my gosh! And then that's the one that the Blob eats.
Eats
the
wasp, and then Giant Man eats him,
and I'm like, oh my gosh!
Yeah, the Ultimates. Those ones were all fucking insane. All of the Ultimate when they did the Ultimates, not the Ultimates from the 616 universe. Every single one of those was batshit crazy. I swear that they basically decided they were just like, how dark can we make this without people being pissed at us?
So
because literally, like, you had stuff that was just so fucking bonkers. The one with the Hulk was always my thing. That Banner was like addicted to becoming the Hulk, and that instead of coming to like an agreement and understanding like they had in the regular universe, they just slaved him out and literally shot him as a bomb. Yeah, that was like have him in the fluid and they're just like, all right, we have our bomb. It's like, I already know what they're gonna do. They have no creative imagination. If they have a problem, they shoot their biggest gun at it and they fucking shoot him out and he becomes that one too. The Hulk being a cannibal, like they went. They went
that's
ham.
right. That's right.
They went ham.
But I mean, there was that. What else was there? There's a couple other things you need to read.
There was a lot of shit. There was so much.
Yeah, because I wanted to read Secret Wars because this is when I first started getting into reading comics. I was like, damn, I don't know what's gonna happen in this main event if I don't read all these.
Exactly, all these lead ups.
So I did. It was pretty good because I read Jonathan.
I said they're not bad.
Jonathan Hickman's Avengers.
They're not bad
good.
Runs. It's just a lot.
Oh no, it's a lot. Yeah.
Because there's probably, like you said, there's probably 100 chapters in between all the different fucking titles. And there's probably 20 or 30 different titles that you have to check out between Fantastic Four, Avengers, fucking X-Men. There's There were
there was a lot. Yeah, there was. I went back and forth with like X-Men.
Like I said, it's like a whole, and that's why I really like Comic Herald's list, but his are almost too comprehensive because he includes every time. Now he does break down which ones are essential and non-essential.
Yeah,
which
he
I
does.
love. But it's just
and then
so
you do
much.
when you do read those, you're like, oh, okay, I see why this was a little bit
why he
essential.
cut it.
But then it was a little bit kind of towards this. But then I could have not read that.
Right, I could have just not read that one. I've been totally fine.
I've done that a few times. I'm like, but it was cool just to read the story. Yeah, because that's how when I first started reading comics, I went on his website and I was like, well, where do I want to start? And I think I started like.
I think he just released his full Marvel reading list.
Did he?
Yeah, recently they talked about it. He's got the full Marvel reading list.
He's on it. He's like,
it's a lot, man.
And that's a lot. I put props to him for doing all that.
I give props to him and any of the people who do good comic breakdowns, like
it's hard
Comics Explained. I just feel like even beyond the difficulty,
my friend watches that. He says that's where he says he catches up on a lot of like what's going on
anything that's like I don't want to read
because he told me he was like, yeah, bro, I don't know where to start. I'm like, yeah, bro, I don't know where you need to start either. I'm like,
you just pick a spot and then there's no starting spot either. Everyone's like, you gotta start. It's like, no, you hit the spot and then you have to go back 10 years and forward. Even if you started at the start, you would have to go forward and go back.
Guys, I want to start with Spider-Man, and I was like, I was like, I'm gonna read all this Spider-Man, and I had to put it realistically. I was like, no, I can't read all this Spider-Man. And I guess supposedly there's this one guy. He told me at the comic store. He's like, yeah, bro, I read every freaking single Spider-Man.
Leo's
book
done it.
That's what I heard.
And I've done X-Men.
I've read all X-Men?
Yeah, I've read, and not just the main ones either. I've read every single, except for the ones that are currently new that I haven't caught up on. I've read every single spin-off.
The main Spider-Man.
I think Leo's only done the main Spider-Man run.
Okay.
To be fair, that would be a whole nother thing, doing all the spin-offs and stuff. And the X-Men's a little more contained because Spider-Man has been around longer and has more comics than the X-Men do.
Yeah.
Even despite being a singular character, he actually
I've read quite a few Spider-Man, but I haven't read that much.
But like I said, I went and got it. I got the 40-year history book or whatever, the CBR release from Marvel.
Oh, so what is that?
It's a collection of all the X-Men from 1960 to like 2015.
Oh, how much did that cost?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't pay for it.
I would like some.
I got it from a friend. And so I got that one, and that one's cool, but then that one's just the main X-Men title, so it technically covers Giant and Savage and a couple others.
Oh, they got Giant size X-Men in there?
Yep. So it comps some of those together, but then like any X-Force I had a chance to buy
one for $500 the other day. And like, you know how much that goes for more now?
I know. They're worth the money, but it's, do you have the money to spend
no, right now I didn't, but because I already did my other big grail, I was like, that's my next one though, is I want my Giant size X-Men before it starts, because it's going up now because of the merger with Fox and Disney now.
Especially with Dark Phoenix being done, they're going to be looking, because that's what they're going to be searching for, is new titles. They know Marvel will not touch the same arc that they'd already done.
Yeah,
they've done it too much, and they're smarter than that.
So we'll see where they want to do. I mean, yeah, Giant size X-Men is just a pivotal moment in X-Men history, because it was a time when the X-Men kind of weren't doing so hot.
Yeah.
And they had to come up with something better, and they were like, okay, well let's make an international team, and they did that. They got Nightcrawler, they got Colossus, they had Wolverine was Canadian, they had
everybody on the list. Storm, they had,
and that's when that's it. Those were new. That's a lot of first appearances in that.
A ton of first appearances, and if you technically count it as the original
second appearance of Wolverine, even. Mm-hmm. So
and you can even technically count some of those original Giant X-Men book as like the original non-visual appearances of characters like Gabriel Summers and or was it Nathan Summers? No, it's Gabriel Summers, the third Summers brother. And then there were a couple other mutants there that were in the intermediary team in between the first team and Giant X-Men that got retconned in. God.
Well, I'll have to read all Spider-Man. Damn it! Since you told me that.
It's the thing is like you can, but and I'll say this about X-Men. I don't know if it was worth reading every single because they're not all that great.
I know.
Like the old ones are very rough. Some of them, like some of them are pretty cool, and then some of them are like you said, it was a different time, different shit. Like the one with Professor X is just like I must never let Jean know of my secret feelings. And I'm just like, meh.
I don't like this.
I don't like this. Yeah, like it's not even wrong or anything. I'm just like I don't like this. Like it's just not in the realm. And then, like you said, you go through the original Brotherhood of Mutants is always interesting to read.
What I try to do is I just try to read good Spider-Man books that were the ones that actually mattered.
Right. I look for story changes. Kraven's Last Hunt, the original period. It is so good. You have to read.
Oh, did you finish reading Last Hunt?
No, I still haven't read the new.
Oh my gosh, you read the last issue. I mean, I know it's been done before, and I don't want to ruin it to you, but when you read it, you're like, it's still kind of like, damn, I can't believe that how he did it like that.
The thing is even if it's been done before, right? Everything's been done before. Yeah. Every fucking thing you can think of in movies and TV and film and books has been done before. It's about doing it well.
Yeah, they did a very well job. What are you just right before the last issue?
No, I'm probably like 2 back.
So where are you at then? What part?
God. What just happened?
Have you been reading the Hunted whatever tie-in issues that they keep?
I haven't read the tie-ins.
You have to read those.
I wanted to read them, but
the actual good one was the which was that one character? I've never heard of him before either.
Oh, shit. Yep. Well, I think we were right about at that time.
Are we?
Yeah, it actually passed pretty quickly today.
I was looking at it earlier and it said 47 minutes on mine.
So, I forgot we have 52 on this one because I've been going longer. But it's also 7, so we'll try to close it up soonish
like 10 minutes.
here. Yeah. Finish off the thing. I definitely want to check those out.
Those ones. Gibbon. That was actually a very good issue. Read that one. Vulture was a pretty good issue. And then they did the Black Cat one, I think, too? Or was it Lizard? It was a Lizard one. I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was Lizard. Those are the 3 off. They were weird because it was like issue 16 Hunted whatever
number 1. Yeah.
I can't remember.
I know how they do. They do the intermediary.
It was supposed, like 16.1 kind of. Yeah. So, anyways, it was good. I loved it, and I'm excited because when I first read the Nick Spencer's run on the Amazing Spider-Man, I was very disappointed with it. I was not loving it at all. And I love Spider-Man, and I just like fuck. I need to. The new one. I can't get off because that's my boy Spider-Man. I can't leave him, so I just kept reading it, and it wasn't good until the Hunted story arc came in.
Okay, no, that's the new one then, because I was thinking of the other one where he was
the
doing
new one
Zodiac.
was when, remember they did that weird, like he had a clone there for a second.
You're thinking of the new Clone Conspiracy run, or
no, it was just literally like it was his new run. This is Nick Spencer's new run on Spider-Man. It was remember it starts off where he gets Mary Jane back, and then after that, then
and I haven't read that one too.
Oh, then you need to it was good.
The last one I read was the one
I was
where
like, yay, he's fixing things. He's fixing things. He's got Mary Jane back.
I love that. That's the definition of fixing things for Peter Parker. It's like, fuck that company you used to have and all the, but you got Mary Jane back.
You got Mary Jane back. That's all that matters right now.
It's like, fuck your international company and your world renown and your public image.
But I'm getting a little. He's putting me on the edge right now because right now there's a teaser that I don't know if you have to read the first issue because that's when he got first teased. There's this new character that he's invented called I've heard from the speculators he's called Kindred because they've asked Nick Spencer himself like, who is this guy, and he's told them like, hey, his name's Kindred on the sneaks. Anyways, he's a new character he's inventing, and he has this like big giant centipede even like wrapped around him, and then he's like wrapped around in like bandages, and you can't see his eyes, they're just like pitch black. And he's just wearing like a hood, and it's like a long robe. But no, he's a new character, but I'm wondering if maybe I did check out that first chapter. Maybe you did. Yeah, he was showed briefly anyways.
Was he like running around in the underground, like hidden behind other people?
Yeah, he was kind of like doing things in the background, and you really had to pay attention to reading the book, because if you weren't, because you kind of just like, oh, I don't get this guy.
Right, who the fuck is?
But if you were paying attention, there was this guy doing something in the scenery in the background.
Because the bandages in the eyes sound familiar.
If you look him up, maybe
maybe I should.
But yeah, it's seems like something's gonna happen now with Mary Jane, because he's kind of like in one of the issues of The Hunted. Remember, maybe that's where you seen him. Was he did show himself in Hunted? And remember, he's kind of like hovering over Mary Jane a little bit. And there's that's bit.
The one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm he's putting me on the edge, because he better not give us her back just to take her back.
No, I hate how they use them too. Her and Mary Jane and Lois Lane are the same for me. They're used as this like story point crux, as opposed to being their own character, like
which they try to do for a minute there with her and Iron Man.
Right, but my problem was the very position she was in felt out of character.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the same for Lois. Like they did the one on Lois Lane where she's like recently where she goes out to space with her and Superman's kid with Superman's father to go like explore space and like learn his Kryptonian heritage, etc. Well, apparently she like sneaks back to Earth and doesn't tell him. Yeah, which is so for me that's 100% out of character. Like, why wouldn't Lois tell him? She's a reporter. She's all about the truth and thing. And unless it was directly like fucking up her investigation, she would never keep something like that from him. And she just needed time to herself, I guess. I don't know. The story writer decided she just needed to be away from Superman. There was lots of different shit on it, and I'm just like,
what do you think about them doing the Lois Lane?
Louis Lane.
They're doing their own ongoing series. Her
I'm
and
fine with
Jimmy Olsen.
I'm fine with that. They did Newsweek for Marvel.
How do you think that's gonna go? You think it's gonna?
Oh, it's gonna go terribly. It's gonna go terribly. But
that's what I wanted to ask. How do you think it's gonna go?
But the thing is, the concept's not flawed. It's going to be their execution. I guarantee you, because they haven't fleshed her or Jimmy out as their own proper characters in the new rebirth cycle. They haven't given them the attention. Their story plot. Their cruxes, and those characters are boring to watch in their own right because they have no personality. They have no direction or hard, fast goals, or you know what I mean. It's not like I said. That's why I always thought Marvel did it well with Newsweek when they did their Newsweek version because they had Ben Ulrich to pull it together. You know what I mean? He's a side character, but he's a side character with his own story and his own set, and his, you know what I mean? He's got his own shit going on, whether it's with his nephew being the Hobgoblin or the Green Goblin, whether
try to read over Ben Ulrich though. Oh my goodness, very nice. No, there's some good stories every once in a while he comes in.
He's fine, but the bigger point my being was that it was when he got his own news, right? It wasn't an ongoing series, but it's a very consistent. It happens whenever they have some big event. They do World War Hulk Newsweek.
I think they did it for Civil War.
They did it for several of them. There were
Civil War 2.
Yeah, they did.
And I think Civil War. When I remember reading a couple of those issues.
Yeah, they definitely do one for most of the big. Or they did. I don't think they've done one since Secret Wars. No, they did one since Civil War 2, but they haven't done them as much. They would do them for every big event. It would be this is news. This is world encompassing. So obviously we should do one on what the actual people would do.
Yeah, that's what's cool about that. I like those ones.
Like I said, they're not like amazing, but they're really good in-depth people stories. You know what I mean? They show the people behind the universe, and then I don't know. I just feel like it gives it depth.
The Marvels is a good one too if you want to read.
Marvels.
Yeah, that's the one with Alex Ross doing all the interiors.
Oh yeah,
it's a really good one because it's about the people and how these superheroes are just it's kind of even like back in the 40s even.
Oh wow.
Maybe 50s. But anyways, they it's just them coming to the age of superheroes and them seeing these like magnificent people for the first time and being in awe and just everything. So it's a really good story. They just reprinted it now. That
sounds fun.
You should read it. It's called Marvels.
Have you checked out
Kingdom Come? Is it called Kingdom Come? I can't remember.
Kingdom
from DC.
Comes, yeah, Kingdom Come is a classic DC one.
That's a DC one that he did as well. So if you like that art,
I've read Kingdom Come, which is a pretty good one. I like the art from Kingdom Come, but the story is what draws you in from Kingdom Come.
That's why I've heard it's a good story.
It's really good. It's if Batman versus Superman should have been based off Kingdom Come. That's how that character acts. Kingdom Come is a different kind of Superman and a different kind of it's a more realistic take, they would say.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. See,
Yeah,
and
it
that's
is.
why I love that they did Alex Ross then for something like that.
And he
'cause
does really good.
He does artwork in a way that you can feel like this person can be real almost. Like when you see those Alex Ross Hulk covers, like
Oh yeah, well
I could see this guy being
like-
a real person.
Oh yeah, well if you look at the Kingdom Come DC cover, it's probably
Yeah,
perfect.
I've seen a couple of those too. They're magnificent.
Yeah, this one's my favorite.
Look up Marvels. You'll be like, ooh, I want to read that too now. Yeah, that's a cool one. I seen that somebody did that on the wall one time. Like
It's just
somewhere.
Marvels, right?
Yeah, it's just called Marvels.
Let's see if it comes up. Nope, it just pulled up Marvel. What was his name again?
Alex Ross.
That's it. I'm so bad.
Well, while you're looking that up, I mean, we did have EA or E3.
Yeah, it's like pay for the sport. It's like pay for your game.
Before we get off, yeah, we had E3 this weekend. I mean, you said you liked a few games, huh?
Yeah, there were some decent games coming. The Final Fantasy one was probably the best reveal, just because
I heard that people are kind of split in half with how they felt about the game.
I mean, how
Some
I
people
feel about the
weren't loving
game.
the new game mechanics for it. With
I mean, I can see it, but at the same time, you know,
did you like them doing that kind of like slow mo thing, and then that making them saying that's their tactical mode? And
I wasn't. It wasn't like a big issue for me. It doesn't look that appealing. I'm just happy the fucking game's here.
Yeah, no.
That's.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where the point I'm at. I'm glad the game's here.
Yeah.
I don't really even give a shit if it's good or bad at this point. I've been waiting. It's like It's like fucking Nemo or not Nemo. It's funny. It actually really is like Incredibles 2. It's like, I've waited 12 years for this. It's not that great, but I've waited 12 years for this. You know what I mean? Like, Incredibles 2 was fine. It was a fine movie, but it wasn't like it wasn't a 10-year wait movie. You know what I mean?
What did you think of Cyberpunk? That trailer?
I haven't seen the trailer yet. I've heard
it's not really a game gameplay, but we've already seen gameplay. It was just a good cinematic story of like where this is gonna go.
I think it looks cool. I like that they have the
Keanu Reeves is gonna be in there.
That was one of my best favorite parts about it.
I mean, Doom.
Avengers, Doom.
What did you think of Doom?
Doom looked good. I mean, it's hard to fuck Doom up. To be fair, you just shoot shit. It's like, I love Doom, but that's the game. It's like Grand Theft Auto. You don't need to revolutionize the game.
Yeah, what do you think of them making a new Zelda game? The sequel to Breath of the Wild.
I liked Breath of the Wild. I didn't get to play it that much, but I got to play.
Yeah, I loved it. That's my first Zelda game.
Really?
Yeah.
I've played others. I don't honestly. Ocarina of Time was the first one.
Banjo-Kazooie is gonna be in Super Smash Bros.
That is gonna be cool. I want more. I want a new Banjo-Kazooie.
I'm kind of excited for Pokemon.
I thought I wasn't.
Shield. I don't care for the legendaries, but
yeah, they weren't that impressive. But the game itself.
I'm just excited you had to play a game like on the Switch, and that might
Wooloo.
Yeah, I'm just excited to play.
What should we do, boys? Let's make a sheep. And then we'll give it braids.
Everyone loves that character, and the new corgi.
The corgi animal
dog kind of Pokemon. Everyone's loving that one too. And anyways, I mean, I'm excited for that because
art on those are very, they're just
you gotta read that storyline. It's pretty good. But I mean, I'm excited for Pokemon just because, like, it's not on a handheld game. It's like, I mean, it's still on a handheld game, but it's on a handheld game that can be also a console game at the same time.
They just want more Switch games, let's be honest.
Yeah.
They need more as it is.
Well,
they did pretty good.
My son been playing Yoshi.
Oh, how is that? Yoshi's...
It's pretty good.
I heard it was fun. I think the best part about it is shooting the eggs.
Yeah.
It's probably the funnest part, right?
Some of the level designs are, getting a little harder. I was kind of saying it's a little too easy and then I was like, okay, there's some parts are a little.
I was talking that shit about Sekiro. It is a little easier than.
Oh, I finally beat the ape, and guess what? That's the part you're telling me.
You got to the other one.
Yes, but
it's not as hard.
No, I got to beat him in that one round, so I was like, oh, thank God.
Like I said, the second one's not as hard. It's just you're like, I just killed the monkey.
Yeah, I beat him, and then I beat the monk.
The monk's a little bit of a
ghost
bitch.
Monk.
He wasn't too bad.
Took me one try too. I was like, thank God on that one.
That's nice.
And,
so now, that like I said, it's hard because you can fuck up progression in that. Like I've jumped so far ahead on the wrong part. I was in the Sunken Valley before I had beaten the gun fort. I was so fucking low. I had gotten down there by like the secret passage that you beat the ninja for.
So I'm happy now.
That's good.
I finally can move forward and
Right.
I'm almost done. It feels like I'm almost there.
You are. I think you are. I'm not. I haven't finished yet. I think I'm on the last boss fight, and it's not even that he's hard. I thought he was so easy that I haven't gone back to it yet. Because he was easier than the monkey or even the thunder guy. Like he's so realistically, like I fought him the one time or whatever, and I had like not that much stuff, and I still almost got him. And the only reason I didn't is because you have to like fight these fucking assassins on the way up to him.
That was the only thing that was a bitch was when he called the other monkey and
said the second monkey. That's why that part.
They do that stuff because then you're like, damn it! Now I gotta focus on this guy, and he's trying to hit me. Get away from me! I'm trying to hit him first.
Get off of me, monkey! Get off of me, monkey! No, but seriously, that's why I was waiting for you to get to that part because it's not even as hard, right? It's not as hard as the first monkey, but it's annoying because you're starting like, I gotta fight another monkey. Boom! I gotta fight 2 fucking monkeys. That one monkey was kicking my ass. Literally, that's exactly what I thought. And then, like you said, I beat him the very first time. I was able to just kind of avoid the other one and kill the brown one first.
So I was happy to get finally over with that.
That's good.
Done with it.
But having said that, I still don't think Sekiro is as hard as Dark Souls.
No,
I think the stamina really makes a difference.
No, there wasn't. No, once you kind of get to a certain level, you're like, okay, now it's getting pretty easy now.
That's the other thing. There's more tools.
Yeah, that's what's cool about it, I think. And then, like again, it just now I feel like I'm getting more of like OP a little bit now.
No, yeah, and you do that in Dark Souls too. Yeah, you get pretty strong.
But it takes like usually game plus 2 or 3 before you're with the guy with the big old sword. And you're like,
yes, you're like, the giant headpiece people like to wear or whatever the fuck.
I was one of those guys with the big old sword for a while.
Some people love it, man. It's fun.
It's the easiest way, I think, to fight.
It's so fucking nice. But that being my point is like, even like I said, Dark Souls is hard. It's fine. It's just I thought, or not Dark Souls. Sekiro's hard is fine. It's just I thought Dark Souls was harder because the stamina bar really made it so that you had to control yourself much better. Especially because when your posture breaks, you don't die, you just take damage.
Yeah.
Like if you died when your posture broke, like your enemies do, it'd be different. And then it would probably be just as hard. Because it's the same stamina kind of thing, you know what I mean? But yeah, the fact that every action you take doesn't drain your stamina like it does in Dark Souls, I feel like that's a hell of a difference.
Tell me you're excited for Halo.
Always. But I'm way more excited for Gears of War.
Really?
Oh.
I heard very disappointed
I don't even
from
care.
the last one.
Oh, the last one wasn't that bad.
Okay.
It was fine.
Yeah, I haven't played it.
It wasn't as bad as the one before it. The one with Baird and fucking...
That wasn't that a spin-off? It was called like something...
it was Gears of War Judgment. Yeah, it was Judgment. So you have Gears 1, 2, 3, Judgment, and then 4. I have all the Gears games.
Okay.
That's my Xbox series.
I gotta play 4 still.
4 is fine. I think they're mad because they switched...
Maybe that's what it was.
They switched main characters.
Maybe that's what it was.
But they needed to. They were 4 fucking movies deep with these other characters, and they'd already done the story.
Yeah,
you already ran
it was already over.
Right, so they needed a new story, and they kind of got it. I will say that it was like... Because there's always different things, right? Like, I look for Gears for a couple things. One, for difficulty. When on the hardest mode, Gears is one of the most difficult games to play, and I don't care who you are. Because it's just so easy to die. As opposed to some other games. Like, Gears is much like on legendary level Halo. If you take 2 shots, or even 1 shot, you're done.
Yeah.
And so difficulty is one of the main things I look for in a Gears game. Has to be hard on the hardest level. And this one was. 4 was very difficult. It wasn't as difficult as the extra added levels they added to Judgment, which is the only reason Judgment gets a pass from me, is because it is literally the hardest Gears game out of all of the Gears games. No questions asked. I've played all of them. I've done all the different things. I've run Horde mode from 1 to 50 on Insane on every game. Well, except 1 because they introduced it in 2.
Yeah, so you play way more Gears than I do because I've only played.
Oh, yeah,
I played it to beat the story and that's it, and then maybe play online for a little bit. And that's it.
I mean, we mostly play story. We played a little. There was a time I think during Gears 2 where I played a ton of like Horde and like online multiplayer, but the other one's not so much. I play a little Horde if I have someone to play with, but Horde mode's a team mode. You need 4 people if you're gonna rock level 50.
We'll have to play some Gears of War 5 because they're coming out with a different, harder mode than 5. Did you hear about that mode?
Which is they're basically copying what they did in Judgment, where they would have you had, you know, hardcore, insane, normal, easy. Then they had challenges on top of that. At the start of each level, you could hit it and it would increase the difficulty by doing this or that. So like one level you would have where it would be like a sniper fight, but if you took the challenge, you only got pistols.
Oh
yeah, they were hard, dude. There was one, there was a time bomb where you had just so much time to clear the entire level, and it was like damn near impossible. It was so fucking hard. But I'm looking forward. That's why I play the Gears games. They are difficult to beat when you play
if you get I think if you get Game Pass. Did you hear about Xbox's Ultimate Game Pass? So it's not a bad deal. You pay $14.99 a month for their Game Pass plus Xbox Live plus access to like all their streaming anywhere you want.
I mean, that's not bad.
What
games are included is the real question.
Yeah, it's pretty good games. Gears of War 5 was actually, I think you could play it now.
Now?
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember.
Maybe on beta.
I can't remember. I gotta look at it again. I'll look at it again.
It's gotta be on beta.
I'll let you know more about it because there was something about that. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Oh shit!
And then before we go off, I was gonna say, did you watch the Jedi game?
Yes, it looks amazing. Actually,
it looks pretty good.
I'm fucking excited for that. I like all the Jedi games though, except for the one EA did.
Which one was that? Are you talking about Battlefront?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
But everyone was not happy with that.
I'm just excited for one more last thing. I'm just excited for them to do Halo finally and come back to Master Chief. I did not like the 4 and this like split off into like Master Chief is actually the bad guy now.
Yeah, I didn't like the bad guy.
Like thing. Now this new guy who now we're supposed to believe is doing the right thing. Like I don't even care about this guy. Like I've been with Master Chief like for what 10-15 years already, and you're just gonna tell me that Master Chief is doing the bad shit and I'm supposed to follow this guy and like him
and I'm supposed to believe you. That's the thing, is like you're gonna basically just said fuck all these other games we made, he's a villain. And I can see why that would piss off. I will say if you have trouble with that, you might not have liked Gears 4 as much because it wasn't the same though.
I think that's what a lot of people were.
They didn't like it because it was different characters. But the problem was they didn't just like throw these new characters in. They were just some random characters. They had a pass off where it was you started these new characters, you have the new thing, and then you get Marcus back as part of the story, and he like reintegrates into the story. And he's like, well, this is kind of what's been happening since this time or whatever, and you even get to play with him for a while, and some other characters that you've had before, you know what I mean? But it was their kids. That was the whole premise, is it's Marcus's kid, not him. So like I can see if that's one of the things that could throw people off, but like I said, they transitioned into it. It wasn't like they just said, oh well, Marcus is dead, all these people are dead, or like Marcus is a villain now. No, they were just like, all right, these are our new characters we're following. This is where, which always made sense to me in Gears, because Gears was never that game that was too keen on keeping characters around either, aside from Marcus. They're fine with killing people. They killed Dom in 3, they killed Ty in 2.
I forget they killed Dom in 3. That was such a sad
one is a sad fucking part, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'm looking forward to all this stuff. Like I said, we probably gotta cut it off.
Yeah.
We're getting to the time, but no, it looks like good stuff. There were some good games. Now that I think about it, there were games.
No,
you know what I mean,
there's some games in there that you're like, okay, yeah.
I just did. But even those ones, they're not popping. You know what I mean? They're not like, I'm excited for Gears 5, but I know it's gonna just be another installment, right? Yeah. And that's kind of how I feel about the Halo one too. Like I'm excited because they're going back, but it's just gonna be another Halo. It's gonna be like a new Destiny.
What do you think about this whole streaming everything though now? So everyone's doing Google's new console.
I know, all stream based, which is cool until you don't have internet. And there's people now that have trouble with the internet standards. Like I have trouble.
And then Bethesda came out with their own cloud gaming service now, and they were.
The thing is, I'm okay with it as an option.
And now
I just
Sony joined up with Microsoft to do Azure gaming. Like, oh my gosh, you guys are going hardcore on the.
They always do that.
I mean, Azure is a good cloud system, but like that's just another part of their system that like is involved in. Like,
right?
All right, cool. Well, let's see how it works.
It looks good. It's just the new fad.
I know what you're saying, though. Yeah, like realistically, how's that gonna? I mean, really happen?
Like, we're just not at that level technologically. Like, if if Elon Musk released his worldwide free internet tomorrow, then it'd be a very viable idea, right?
It's the only way it would do it, because you don't have companies throttling your network.
Exactly, and then throttling your network for playing certain games. Or I hate that shit. They've proved that shit, that your provider will throttle certain websites, certain things that are not to their standard thing, and they'll only allow you a certain thing on it. And they have a whole, who is it, Netflix released their own internet speed checker, because they told people, they're like, your internet company's lying to you. They're going to tell you whatever they want to tell you.
I just do Google.
Well, exactly, that's what he's saying.
I'll never do Comcast. It's like, it always does turn out to be different, because I'll do theirs and theirs.
Exactly, and that's why I like the Netflix one, because it's a very basic standard one. It's speed.net, I think, is the website you go to, and it tells you the speed. Now, obviously, that's biased towards Netflix, right? Because Netflix runs the service, and that's what people just got to remember. Bias. They don't, you factor in bias. Bias doesn't make something not good. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Other than that, we can wrap that up and just say new Xbox 2000 or next holiday.
Yes, the next holiday we're gonna have a new Xbox. God damn it.
What do you think after that? You think we'll have one more console after that, or you think consoles are dead after that, like everyone's saying?
I don't know.
We'll see. All right, because I mean,
it's hard to...
the one last thing, E3 felt very different this year.
It was so different.
Even that, because Sony wasn't there this year. They announced it, and then Nintendo already stopped and they'd already three years ago.
And it wasn't just this year, but wasn't it last year that they cut off vendors or whatever? Like it was
really?
There was some big cut, and so this year I think it took full effect where there's only the main people. Like there's no secondary or third party.
I just feel like games are kind of going in this. Yeah, I mean, just games are going in a new direction with battle royales and
there's all kinds of new stuff. Streaming is a huge one. Phone games, oh my god,
it's like hardcore with the phone games.
To be fair, I mean they make
a lot of money. No, they make more money than console games.
Oh, by far.
That's why they're doing it. I understand they're doing it because the money's there, but it just sucks that there's just so many phone games and like
I said, the kids throw me off because they have 3 or 4 different little phone games. They have, and some of them are cool. Like they have the Marvel Champions or whatever.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah, my son.
But then they have Speed Run or Fun Run. I think it's called Fun Run. They have a baseball one. There's all kinds.
It's all right in your hand. I mean, it's so easy.
And they're getting pretty advanced, dude. Like the graphics on some of these games are pretty.
Oh, I just downloaded Elder Scrolls, bro. You can freaking fight like you're.
Yes. They have Mortal Kombat on here the same way they did Injustice too, but they had a mobile app connection, so you could download a free skin from Mortal Kombat, which I did. But you can play full Mortal Kombat right there. You can do punches, combos, moves. I'm just pretty soon it's all gonna be on the fucking phone, and I'm dreading it. I don't know why. I just don't like that. I'm just not down. All right, we can talk about this forever, but thank you guys all for coming in.
Have a good one.
Enjoy.